welcome to the first installment of I See It, I Like It, I Sew It by Sew with LAU. I'm really excited for today. I found some fun inspiration on Pinterest of a funky purse that I wanted to make. If you're already following my blog and my Instagram, you've seen me post a purse that I've tried to make previously. It was a little bit smaller and pink, not super practical. So this one is kind of like a play on that one, but a little bit bigger. And I'm really excited to see how it goes today and to share the process with you guys and hope that it turns out so well. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the purse that I want to make. I found it on Pinterest and I'm super excited about it. I went to Value Village, grabbed this old bathrobe for like $8 and just got to work. So I started by folding the fabric in half, and then I just went in with my rotary cutter and tried to cut out a rectangle piece that I thought would be a good starting size. Okay, so this is what I end up with. It's about 25 by 20 inches. It's pretty big. And then I go in and I decide that I'm going to cut off both of the arms of the robe to use as the sides and the bottoms of the bag. So here's the work in process. And then here's what I end up with. Those are the body, that's gonna be the sides, and then that's going to be the bottom of the bag. So now I just go in and start pinning. I'm doing just the sides here. I'm gonna worry about the bottoms once I have the sides sewn together because I think that's gonna be easiest. But yeah, here I go pinning away. And also don't mind all the fluff on my sweater. Who knew that bathrobes would shed so much in the process? And then I get to work sewing, the fun part. So I just start sewing all those sides that I've pinned together, carefully removing the pins as I go. And this is what I'm left with for that first section of the bag, and I'm ready to start sewing on that bottom. But before I can do that, I have to pin down the sides the same way we did in the first part. I just do it with the bottom, all four sides, and then I get to work sewing once again. My favorite part. Here's what the bag looks like now that we've sewn that bottom piece on before we flip it inside out, and then we tuck those top edges down and are gonna sew those all around the bag so that we have no rough edges. But it's really starting to come together at this point. I'm really happy with it and I'm really excited to see what it looks like once we get some handles going. I'm really starting to love how this bag is looking, and it looks so neat now that the edges are all sewn down. So now I'm gonna use the belt as the handle. So I'm going in with the seam ripper, and I'm doing this because I want to make the belt only one layer instead of two. So I'm just taking it apart here so that it will be easier to sew with. And as you can see here, I cut off that extra piece of fabric, and then I'm just left with a thinner piece of material that's gonna be way easier to sew onto the actual bag. And then, as always, I get to work pinning it where I want to be so that I think the handles are in a good position. So I start sewing the handles, and pretty much right away, my needle just absolutely snaps on me. I think the material was still too thick. So I just go in and I start unscrewing that old one, and then luckily I had some new needles on hand. So then I just take one out that I think was going to be a little bit better for thicker material, and I go ahead and screw that into the machine so that I can get back to work. And luckily that did the trick, so I was able to keep sewing with that heavier needle, and now you can see that both ends of the bag have been secured. So we're so close to being done now. I'm just going in with some scissors and trimming any of that extra thread I had. And because I cut the belt in two separate pieces and sewed each on individually, I'm going ahead and tying the top in a bow, which is a little bit different from that original inspiration pick I'm using, but I think it just works better for me, and I'm actually really happy that I did that. So here is the final result, and I'm actually so happy with it. I think it turned out really well. I think it is so cute and versatile. Look at it. Okay guys, I seriously think that this turned out amazing. I love it. I think it is such a perfect size for literally so many things. I'm also really excited that I was able to reuse that old robe and turn it into something that I'm going to use literally all the time. It was also a pretty easy project to complete even for beginners. So I'm gonna go ahead and post the pattern for it on my blog. I'm gonna link my blog below as well as my socials, so be sure to follow those and stay tuned for that pattern to be posted so that you can go ahead and make your own. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really hoping that you guys all make something of your own and feel inspired to turn something old into something new. Thank you so much, and see you next time.